Hello, everybody, and the Limitless Moms community. I hope everyone is doing well. So today I have with me the beautiful Lace Flowers, and we're here to talk about all things mum life travel, and we'll jump into all of the things in just a moment. But before we do, just want to remind everybody that I'm going live using StreamYard. If you haven't done so already, please go ahead and use the link at the top of this post to grant StreamYard permission to see your name so that we can see who's talking to us over here. Lace can see your comments back here, comments too, and we're looking forward to answering any questions that you have for either of us along the way. So Lace is one of my beautiful one-to-one clients. She's worked with me pretty much from the very beginning of my journey in the online coaching space right up until today. And she herself has come on an incredible journey, her own business and travel adventures as well. And that's really what we wanted to come and share with you here today. Are you excited about what the possibilities are for you when you actually allow yourself to set dreams, to set goals, and commit yourself to intentionally pursuing them despite the challenges that you might face along the way? So Lace, I'm going to get you to just introduce yourself a little bit, who you are, what do you do, and we'll go from there and let this conversation in.
Okie dokie. Thank you, Amber. I'm so happy to be here. Oh my gosh, what a journey it's been. My name is Lace Flowers. I originally met Amber in the Dream Club. If you guys are familiar with Cherelle, that's where we met. And I'm many things now. I started off as a crypto coach, and I am now a virtual assistant for course creators and coaches. And I'm also a travel mama, which is part of my brand, where I support women who are single, they want to travel the world with their kids, and I support women to get the confidence and the balls to go out there and actually do it. And I hold meets, I have memberships, I have lots of things going on to support you to create that connection, create that community, and to get you out there actually pursuing your dreams, because it is possible.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. And I want to talk about that specifically because there are so many women in this space that I've spoken to that don't necessarily know what skills they already have and how to take that and transfer that into something that they can make an income from that supports them to live their freedom lifestyle. And there are a lot of women in here that want to travel, but their freedom lifestyle may be various things. But I remember when you first started out, you didn't start out with all of these different modes of bringing an income to you. And when we first connected, one of the things that you were doing was building a business that was helping people to build passive income streams. And that was kind of where you started. So I just want to make it clear to people that where you begin your journey with online business or even with any goal pursuit, it can evolve from there, but it's important to start somewhere. So talk to us just a little bit about how you actually ended up in the online business sphere in the first place. How did you get to the Dream Club, which is where we met? How did that happen and why?
Oh my goodness. Okay, so this is taking us back to probably about 18-ish months ago. I was very unhappily married. I was financially dependent and I'd had enough. I had big dreams, big goals, and I was so miserable and just looking for a way out. So I trained as a self-sabotage coach 2 years ago and didn't do anything with it at all because, unsurprisingly, I started to self-sabotage. And as things got worse and I felt even worse about everything that was going on, I decided it was time to get educated. It was time to do something. And I've always loved learning things. So I started to teach myself about gold and silver and cryptocurrency. And I began creating passive income streams with that. So that gave me something to start with. And then Cherelle just spawned onto my timeline and I couldn't get rid of the woman. So I was like, do you know what? I'm just going to do this woman's course because clearly she has something to teach me that I need. I wanted to learn how to start an online business. And I thought, I'm going to go and do my coaching. She's going to help me set it up because I had the knowledge and the training, but I didn't really know how to take that and transform it into a business, right? So that's where it sort of began. And I ended up doing crypto coaching, nothing to do with the self-sabotage stuff. And it's just sort of evolved from there. But the point is, you have to start somewhere, right? You know, you can have lots of ideas and get stuck going around in circles thinking, oh, I don't know enough, I'm not good enough, I'm not smart enough, I need one more qualification. No, you don't. Start where you are, do what you can, and just be open for things to evolve and flow along the way. That's certainly what's happened to me. So from me taking Chanel's course and leaving the UK, that was 6 months, if that. And I didn't really have a plan. I launched my crypto coaching, my daughter's here. I launched my crypto coaching, made my first money, and just booked flights to Mexico. And I was like, I'll figure it out.
So I want to come back to what you said. It's a really short time frame. And a lot of people think that this can take you to a place where you're earning enough to actually have travel time. But the fact that you're able to go from where you were in a place you're unhappy with, dependent on somebody else financially, to being able to get up, create your own business, have your own income streams, and actually go and travel and leave that marriage and find yourself into the place and things that you wanted to do. And I know it wasn't an entire smooth journey. You did it and you didn't give up. As we first connected, one of the things that we came together to work on was confidence, because one of the things that you weren't using your self-sabotage coaching, talk about your self-sabotage coaching, was also to do with a lack of confidence around speaking and sharing your expertise on that. So I'd love to learn a little bit more or understand a little bit more of what you think was holding you back from stepping into the business that you do now and all of the things that you do now back then. Where was the disconnect?
So in answer to your question, I can see you moving again now. There was a lot of things going on that were holding me back. I was not very confident about myself. I wasn't happy with the way that I looked. I didn't want to show up on camera, and I didn't think that anyone would really want to hear what I had to say, looking and feeling the way I felt about myself, which now saying that out loud sounds absolutely ridiculous, but that's how I felt inside. I didn't feel like, I was good enough, that I had anything worth hearing. And I also sometimes lose my words after having a car accident in 2014. I ended up in a coma for 8 days. And as a result of that, sometimes I just completely lose my words and I just talk rubbish. And that's quite embarrassing. But I own that now. It doesn't matter. It happens, whatever. So that's sort of where I was at with the confidence thing. And then you came along and you helped me to reprogram all of that. Because I remember having some sessions with you and doing the hypnotherapy. And then suddenly I booked like 8 speaking engagements and I was all over the internet talking to people. I'm feeling good about myself. And funnily enough, in that time of leaving the UK and probably around 6 months into being in Mexico, I lost about 4 dress sizes as well, without trying, without dieting, without anything. I just changed my perspective, my programming around myself, and everything else in the physical just seemed to really follow.
Amazing. And I mean, I've been witness to this journey, I've been present in this journey, so it's really hard to me to come now from this perspective and kind of analyze what's happened along that road. One of the things that I love about this story is that sometimes we have the tools. It's not that you didn't have the knowledge of how you were self-searching or the awareness of where those blocks might be coming up, but it was more about having somebody hold that space for you and guide you, and using hypnotherapy and using those tools that enabled you to overcome that, and that enabled you to have a look at the programs and address those programs that then gave you that confidence. And so I think for me there's a clear distinction here between knowing the things, then applying them, but also having somebody to hold that space for you. Because I think a lot of the time we think we know it, we should be able to do it for ourselves. I know the stuff, I should be able to do this for myself. Absolutely. And one of the biggest things that, and I know you know this, but just for people watching as well, one of the biggest things that I've had to do is accept that it's okay to hold my hands up and say, do you know what? I need some support to get me through this process, because doing it by myself, possible, not necessary, and it's not always easy.
Absolutely.
So
I think having guidance, support, and accountability is so important. It really helps you to just keep moving forward. Otherwise, you can just get, stuck inside yourself and you don't move forward. Having someone there to put their foot in your ass in a loving way is really helpful.
Exactly, and that little nudge, and it's really important that we're honest with ourselves about where we're not being honest with ourselves, or where we're not allowing ourselves to push ourselves that little bit further, and having somebody to, like you say, keep you accountable helps with that. So what, you now have multiple different revenue streams that you use to fund and support your travel. Talk to me about how this came about. So how did you, from doing cryptocurrency courses to then entering into the world of self-sabotage, and then now doing VA work and all of these other things? I really love that you have such an eclectic ability, or just an eclectic range of things that all fit into one niche, but they all support your clients in various different ways. And we can get a lot of people stuck. So a lot of people that I work with get stuck in one idea, one right way, one niche, one small thing that they think they have to do and must do because somebody else has told them that that's the thing that's going to make them loads of money, or that's the thing that's going to bring them travel and location independence.
Yep.
I have these gifts that I can use and alchemize into people. How did that come about, and how did you find the
Okay, so how did it come about? Well, when I got to Mexico, my crypto income was paying for my rent. It was very, very good. Unfortunately, that dried up shortly after I arrived, and I had to give up my beautiful 4-bedroom house with a hot tub in my bedroom. Like, the house was so big, I felt like a queen, but the income dried up. I couldn't do it. The company collapsed, and slowly all of my other income streams within that space sort of went the same way. So I didn't want to teach that stuff anymore. I still do teach the basics about, what cryptocurrency is about, why it's valuable, why you should understand it and be able to use it and all that sort of stuff. But I no longer promote any platforms, any specific platforms, because none seem to be performing at the moment. So I've changed what I was doing there, because I thought, okay, well, I just felt like it was time for a change, really. And people really enjoyed my self-sabotage stuff that came up in there when we were talking about, money mindset and all that sort of stuff. So I thought, right, I'm going to pivot away from this. I'm going to go into the self-sabotage stuff. And it was really slow. It didn't really take off. I was really struggling. Like, don't get me wrong, doing what I've done is not easy. It has not been easy. There are times where I've had no money, like none. We've eaten eggs and beans and vegetables and just little things, like basically whatever we had. But so I thought, okay, well, if this isn't quite working, you've got to pivot again, right? So I'm not even sure what happened. I think I did end up with I ended up with some self-sabotage clients, which was really good. And we've done some work together and everyone's been really happy. And then I found myself stuck in a rut thinking about VAing, because I've been in the online space since 2016, building websites on WordPress and learning various bits and bobs. So I have lots of knowledge and I just wasn't using it. And that's when you called me and said, hey, I need some help. So I decided to help you. And you basically made me an accidental VA overnight while I was in Dominican Republic, wondering where I was going to live and what I was going to eat. So that's kind of how it's happened. So honestly, if you are out there thinking, you have to stick to this one idea that you have to do it the way that whatever mentor told you, you just don't. That is nonsense. Where is that additional sound coming from? Is that yours? Yeah. You don't have to stick to it. Nobody has it all right. I would really encourage you to lean into your gut, lean into the tools and skills and experiences that you already have and how you can monetize those. because that's where the magic lies. If you just stay stuck on one path and it's not working, quite often it means you need to change direction. So all I've done is just sort of go with the flow, and that's how I found to do what I'm doing, basically. So and obviously now I've been traveling for the last 15 months. I have lots of knowledge there as well. I've been doing this on my own. I've been with my two girls, and we've been to all across Mexico. We've been homeless in Mexico. We've missed flights to Costa Rica. We've been to Guatemala, and we walked over through the land border. We didn't get our passport stamped. We were there illegally. It was so much fun. We rode buses. We've done all sorts of crazy stuff. We've been to the Dominican Republic, absolutely hated it. And now we're in Colombia, where I've been almost 2 months now. So I've got a lot of knowledge about, sort of getting your way around Latin America and how to integrate yourself, how to get on in these different countries. So that's now what I'm bringing into the Travel Mamas. So I can bring all of that information to you to help you feel confident and comfortable when you get out there traveling, because, it can be lonely, it can be difficult, and you've got to figure it all out on your own. So I figure, why not share, what I've learned to make, your journey easier. So yeah, that's how it happened. I've just pivoted and pivoted and pivoted until I get to a place where I'm like, okay, this is working, and I'm gonna stick to that.
And okay, unmuted. So also I want to highlight this as several really important things that brought up loads of questions that I wanted to ask you, and things that I wanted to share that I remember from your journeys, and some of those interruptions where you'd missed flights and things as well. But I just want to come back to this. You all have, every single person, every single adult I have ever met, unique strengths, skills, gifts, transferable skills, and things that they can use and alchemize to bring to their existing business. And that might be to support the strategy part of their business, like the things that are happening behind the scenes, or it might be to support the service that you provide. But regardless, there are so many different avenues. When I reached out to you about doing VA work was because I've seen your dedication, I've seen your drive, I've seen the quality of what you produce and put out in your own business, and seen the skills that you have. That was an opportunity, for me, where there's this door that's opening for you, that's going, you have gained all of these skills over all of your years of being in the online business space that are actually really valuable to somebody else, that you actually enjoy doing and you're really good at. So why not use that? Obviously, I needed those skills as well. I needed that. I needed somebody to take that space in my business as well, which has been magical, and you've been absolutely phenomenal at it. But this is also just a lesson to all of you out there, is that you all have these skills. Doesn't mean that you have the same skills, but you all have a unique set of skills that, if you get creative enough and you're aware and you have your eyes open for the opportunities that are around you, you can use them and utilize them in ways that you perhaps haven't even potentially considered yet. And I think that's really powerful.
It is.
Really
it is.
Powerful.
So I never thought about doing any of this stuff before. I just thought, I've got all this stuff that I can do, and I'm just sitting on it. Doesn't make sense.
Yeah. And it's really this matter. I talked about this yesterday on a live. I went live yesterday evening, about leveraging of what you've already got, because there's a big part. I remember at some point there was a conversation that we had. You were just saying, I just don't know enough. I don't have enough. I don't know enough to share these things with people, or I don't feel like what I know is of value, or how is that really going to help people? And I was like, the reason we so often feel like that, because I've felt like that in the past as well, is because we don't see the value in what comes easy to us now. So even when it's taken us a while maybe to learn a certain skill, once we've got it and then we're using it daily and it's just something that we do, we start to, unless we're in constant recognition of that, we lose the ability to see that that's something that not everybody else has, can do, or might need.
That is so true. I remember that conversation in Dominican with you. I remember it perfectly. I was standing looking out the window thinking, oh my gosh, she's just hit the nail on the head.
Yeah. And it resonated, and it was a reminder to me as well, because we often think the things that come easy are the things that we shouldn't be charging for. So we go out there and we make it 20 times more complicated, because our gifts, the things that come easy to us, are actually the things that are most valuable into the world. And here we for the world. And here we are going, what else can I learn?
Yes.
I need to have something more that's more valuable, that's harder, so that I can be of value to the world. I know you already have intrinsic, inherent value. You're already worthy, and we already need your magic. That would be. Yeah, super powerful. So I want to come back to something in terms of challenges, because one of my biggest jobs and my hopes for this community is to help you face the things and that you're seeing as limitations, and switch your perspective on them and use them to as opposed to hold you back. And so one of your biggest challenges, again, another phone call that I remember so clearly, was you being stranded in Mexico City airport with the girls and just being like, I've missed my flight. Well,
twice.
And the second time was like, I kind of like twice. It was twice, wasn't it? Yes, I missed it twice. And was like, I've just on extra flights. I've already, I'm literally at the breaking point in my bank account. What do I do from here? So I'm just in a moment. I want later to tell this story, because it was insane. And so I get a message, first of all, just saying I've missed my flights again.
Yeah.
Like, oh my gosh, what do I do? I was like, hey, let's just jump on a call. And I mean, this was kind of, by this point, our relationship from mentor and hypnotherapist had evolved into friendship, and that's where we are today, and it's a beautiful thing. And so at this point, when you called me, it was more of a just, oh my gosh, I have to get this girl to somewhere safe.
Can you close the door, please? Sorry.
No, that's all right. What did, in that moment, in the airport, what was the thing that got you through? Just tell us a little bit about the story. What was going through your mind, and what helped you?
I'm an interview. Sorry. You keep breaking up. You want to hear the story about Costa Rica, right?
Yes. Tell us about it.
So I decided I'd had enough of being hot and miserable in Puerto Vallarta in Mexico. I was there in the summer, and let me tell you, do not visit Puerto Vallarta in the summer. It is too freaking hot. It was like 40 degrees. It was horrendous. So I was like, right, let's go to Costa Rica. I want to go there. Maybe it'll be raining. It'll be much better. So we decided to get flights to Costa Rica, and unfortunately, our first flight, we missed. Angel, stop, please. We missed our connecting flight because our flight out of Puerto Vallarta was delayed. So we got there in the middle of the night. We ran through the airport, and we missed our flight. So we had to get a hotel and stay overnight, and we booked another set of flights for the morning. We overstayed our time in Mexico as well. So we had to go to immigration and stand in long queues. And by the time we did all of that, I got to the check-in desk for the second time, and the woman at Avianca Airlines wanted to argue the toss with me about luggage. Now, I swear up and down I paid for luggage. I had a screenshot on my phone about paying for checked luggage. Don't travel with checked luggage, okay? Just carry on. It's so much easier. So we were having this argument, and time was ticking down. I got in a strop because I was like, I don't have any more money to spend on this. And then my phone pinged, and it was Airbnb. And the guy from Airbnb was like, oh, hey, you haven't paid enough for your accommodation. It's going to cost another $2,000. At this point, my card was in the machine trying to pay for the luggage I'd already paid for. Thank God my card was declined at that very moment, because I didn't have 2,000 USD to pay for my accommodation. So had that gone through and I got on that flight, I would have been homeless in Costa Rica, which wouldn't have been fun because I didn't really know anybody there. So again, as soon as my card was declined, the woman said, oh, you've missed your flight. And I just sat on the floor and was like, oh, what do I do now? Because obviously I've given up my apartment in Puerto Vallarta. I'm now in Mexico City Airport, which is absolutely enormous. And I have no apartment, no flight, hardly any money, and nowhere to go. So yeah, I called Amber or messaged, I can't remember, and just said, hey, I'm just homeless in the airport. Like, I don't even know what to do. And this is where, if you're planning on traveling, this is a really good tip. make sure you have an enormous network of people who are all over the world online that you can reach out to, because this is what saved our asses. Amber put out a call for help and said, hey, is anybody in Mexico City? We have a lady in our community who needs some help. And within 15 minutes, I had an Uber being sent to Mexico City airport. There was a lady called Glow who was living in Mexico City. She sent an Uber to pick us up and she housed us. She let us stay with her for as long as we needed to. We were there for about 10 days while we sorted ourselves out. So we very narrowly missed having to live inside of a very large airport for a couple of weeks. And that was just a crazy day. And you know what? I didn't cry. I didn't freak out. I just sat on the floor and I was like, it will figure out. That's something you definitely need when you're doing this kind of stuff, is you need faith. You need to have unshakable faith that you're going to be okay. And you also need to put in things in place to have people that you can reach out to if you get stuck.
Right. And this is kind of the piece of the story for me that was the most incredible, because I could not have imagined being in that position and being able to hold my faith as strongly and as beautifully as you did in that moment. And it was just this kind of lesson. You know, I have spent so many calls with you, so many discussions with you of going, trust the signs, trust the universe, trust what you're being led to, lean into trusting divine timing. It's all coming together in perfect ways, because I truly and honestly believe that 100%. And now and again, the universe will send you, like, this isn't it chose to send you, it just happens. Events can come together, variables come together in such a way that you're presented with this huge test of faith. It's always at the last hour, the last moment, the moment where you're almost ready to just go, I've got nothing left to give. And this might be in a travel situation like this. It might be in your business. It might be in your relationship, or whatever it is. There is usually, or quite often in my experience, this moment where the last hour hits and suddenly it all falls into place. Suddenly the winds start coming through. Because it was from this point, bless Glow, I'm forever thankful to her for just her response and her swift kind of yeah, I'm here. This is what this space and this community has also been about, because it's not just about physically housing people, picking people up, but when people have something that they're struggling with, a challenge that they're overcoming, they've got a space and a community where they can come to and say, look, who in here has the tools, the unique, again, this comes back to the unique resources, gifts, talents that I need right now that can help and support me. And there's so much shame and guilt about raising our hands and just saying, at this moment in time, I'm struggling. And so another part of this for me was your ability to be vulnerable, because so many of us in the online space, or so many people in the online space, have built up a facade of how successful they are in the business world, of how their life is perfect, because that's what sells, right? It sells, we sell this vision. And it's such a shame. I'm not saying everybody's like this, by the way. I'm just saying that there are coaches and marketing tactics out there that sell something that perhaps isn't what's happening behind the scenes. And sometimes being able to be vulnerable and say, do you know what? Everything just fell. Everything's fallen apart for me for temporarily. I have this, someone put down here, balls of steel and support. Yes, exactly. I have this unwavering faith that it's going to be okay, but I'm not going to pretend to you that I'm not struggling right now, that there isn't a challenge before me right now, that I don't need some support and some help and some guidance. I love that. Balls of steel. That might now become your new tagline. Lace flowers, balls of steel. But this lived example for me is an example of this hurdle could have made you go, right, I need to get a flight back to the UK. Because there was a point in time in this conversation going, maybe I should just go, I just have to go home. I'll just have to stop my travels and I won't, I might just have to go home. And then there was this part of you that was like, that is not an option. I did not come this far to turn around and go back again.
No, it was not an option. I was just thinking, if my family were going to help, they'd be like, well, you need to come back. But the truth is, I don't have a home to return to. So I've been going back to my home country to be in exactly the same position I was already in, homeless. So I was like, well, at least I'm warm. Might as well stay where I am, right?
I'm in Mexico. Right. And it was just this holding on to faith, this trusting of the universe that enabled you to actually get yourself to a place of safety, leaning on that support, leaning on that community, and trusting that the next step, the next right step, was going to become visible to you. And it did.
Yes, it did. It's within 10 days.
And it continues to unfold.
Oh, yeah. It has been such a journey. And yeah, I have no problem with being vulnerable and sharing it like it is. I think it's really important to really share the reality of full-time travel as a single mom who is not rich. You know, people think you need a lot of money to do this. Lots of money helps. It makes you comfortable, but you don't need a lot of money to do this at all. You really don't. I've done it on a shoestring budget. It's not always been fun. Would I change it? No. The only thing I would change is having more money. But would I say, oh, I wish I'd waited until? No, absolutely not. This is character building stuff. This is magical. You don't forget things like this. And I honestly feel it can only get better from here. If I can survive in Dominican Republic on £50 a week for 6 weeks, I think I can survive anywhere on pretty much anything. It does get better. It will get better. And, you know, there's no time like the present. Just go out there and just do it, right?
And so we've been on for a while, so I'm going to start like kind of wrapping this up in just a moment. From a perspective of just that, believing that you need a lot of money to go after the things that you want. Sometimes I think the money thing holds people back from taking action or whatever they might be, instead of taking the leap and trusting that the money will come, because the money has always shown up for you in the end. And similarly, in my experience, in my own journeys and goals, that has always been true. Or the resources. So maybe it's not money for you, but maybe it's a resource that you need. You don't feel like you have a particular resource. Maybe it's childcare, maybe it's support, maybe all of these things. We can take small steps, or we can take giant leaps. And the choice of how you make that journey is completely up to you. For you, it was a giant leap, right? Like it was just a giant, I have to do this, and it's this a now or never type thing. For some people, it might be just focusing on the next right step and allowing that journey to unfold. Okay, it's fine. But if you stop, if you don't act, if you're sitting there saying, I'm not doing anything, I'm not even going to attempt to make this come true, it won't. Basically, it won't, because you're not taking action. So we can visualize, create clarity. The one thing that this has always done, and I admire you beautifully for, is take action.
Yeah, thank you. Stops doing. You just got to keep doing. No matter how small or how big, just keep doing. You're frozen again, dear.
So from your perspective, to give anybody in this group, anybody who wants to travel with their children, anybody who's looking at funding their travels through online business, what would your number one piece of advice be to them?
Oh my gosh. Wow. Number one piece of advice. To begin with, if you're thinking of traveling, make sure you have a good network of people all over the world. You will need them. You need people to be able to reach out to. Secondly, you don't need a whole lot to start. You just need to start somewhere. You don't have to jump in head first like I did and just go, sell everything and just leave. You can start by taking a couple of weeks or a couple of months somewhere and go back. You can start slowly and build things as they go, if that makes you feel better. And, if something's not working, just change direction.
Beautiful. I love that. If something's not working, just change direction. And for me, that is probably one of the biggest life advices. If something in your life doesn't feel good, change it. Who's telling you that you have to stick with what you have? And so in your business, in your travel adventures, and in your life in general, you are the one with the pure, potent power. I love that. That's beautiful. So tell us a little bit about, because you've just opened up a brand new membership for moms who are in that position, who are wanting to travel or who are already traveling? Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, I have just opened my, forgotten what it's called now because I'm so distracted. But yeah, I've just opened my membership. It's the Thrive and Wonder Tribe. It's for single mums and solo women. Solo women are not excluded. It's £7 a month, and I'm in there every month to give you group coaching calls. We're going to have group experts to come in and talk to us about parenting, about traveling, about online business, remote income, being, wellness and self-care when you're abroad. All these types of things we're bringing into that space. And also you're going to be surrounded by like-minded women who are either aspiring to create their online incomes, aspiring to travel with their children, or maybe they already are, but you're going to be able to network in there and have friends across the world as well. So it's a beautiful space, and it is a no-brainer price of £7 a month. It's actually supposed to be going up today to £10 a month, but for anyone in this group who wants to join, you can have it for £7 a month. But it's a nice community. I think we've got 8 ladies in there at the moment, which is awesome. So yeah, hop in. You get access to me every month. You can pick my brain, and we just share and talk, and it's just beautiful. So that's what I've just opened. And I'm also looking at opening up some retreats as well. The first one's going to be here in Colombia, probably about July. It's going to be a hub again for solo women, single moms and their kids to come along, so we can help you get acclimatized to traveling on your own, but you'll be able to come along and be in the company of other women. So you're not on your own. We teach you all the tips and tricks about, how to get on here in Colombia, what to do, what not to do, and all that sort of stuff. It's going to be beautiful. 7 days, beautiful accommodation, meals, activities, fun, salsa dancing, the lot of it, pampering, you name it, we're going to be doing it. So if you're interested, I can drop a link just so you can sign up for the email, just to keep yourself up to date with what's happening and when.
Brilliant. I love that you're offering that, and that you're going to be bringing other mums along with you, because I definitely felt, so obviously last year we went and traveled around the UK for the summer, but beforehand, some of the self-sabotage that I was coming up against was this belief that as a single parent, it wasn't safe for me to travel around with my kids with a backpack and a tent and go and stay in all of these random places. Having a community to do that with. So the first trip we took, we actually went and joined another family, and it made all of the difference to me, gaining that confidence and belief that it was okay for us to do this and that it was safe for us to do that. But within where I knew that should anything occur, or should I lose some of my confidence or belief or anything like that, I had someone else there with me that I could lean on. It turned out to be the most magical experience. And then we went on to travel for months by ourselves all over the place. But just having that first point of connection being another family and another mum who's already doing it was magical. Bring a group of you together, and the kids are going to have people to play with. You're going to have people to lean on, and you're going to have Lace to show you around Colombia as well, which is
exactly. And that's why I want to do this, because I've just spent 2 weeks with some other travel mums who came to stay with me here, and having that connection, that community is just so important. Like we had such a blast. Honestly, it was amazing. And I thought, you know what, we need to make this happen for more women. And what's going to be special about these is the first one's going to be in Colombia, but I'm going to have them popping up in places around Latin America, and who knows, maybe later on around the world. So you'll be able to come and check out all different countries that you may not have wanted to travel to by yourself or feel confident to, but you will have a hub to come to, people to connect with, so you can get acclimatized and feel comfortable.
Beautiful. Love that. Just really quickly, because I haven't brought up all of these comments, come back to this one because it's really to you, Lace, and saying thank you. Is it showing up? It was showing and now it's not. I'm waiting for my internet to catch up with me. There we go. You're so inspiring, Lace. You've been able to keep changing and adapting and just going with what works and discarding what isn't. And I just want to say thank you for coming here and sharing your inspiring story with us, and with the community, and just sharing all of that with us and Shay to put stuff down that's not working and pick up stuff that is working and adapt and find your agility along the path, enjoy the journey and not get so caught up in that goal or the right way of doing things.
Absolutely. Be like a river.
Right.
No, meander. Take the path of least resistance. I wish I was single.
Yes.
Who said that? Oh gosh.
I know who this was. I'm gonna have to check my mood.
It doesn't matter if you're like with someone, as long as you don't bring them with you.
It doesn't matter if you have a partner; they're just not allowed to come with you. This is a girls and children only event, but come and play anyway. Who was that? I have to know who that was now. Sorry, just being curious.
I might have to be single for that retreat. Well, by all means, take yourself a break. I love these comments. Definitely.
I mean, have you seen the pictures of some of the guys that Lace met on her travels? Just because we are in this beautiful space, there have been some very, very beautiful men that she has come across along the way. Let me turn the sound off my phone.
Yeah.
Someone wants to hear that.
Yeah.
Tracy, brilliant.
I must say that Colombian ladies are quite attractive. And Venezuelans are beautiful.
Love it. I absolutely love it. Brilliant. Okay, lovelies. Well, if you guys have any questions, what I have done is I've dropped the links to Lacey's website and all of her bits and bobs inside multiple posts inside the community today, but there is also, I believe, on the top of this live ads. Go and find those, check them out. Make sure you connect with Lace on all of her social channels, through Facebook. You know how to do all of those things. But just get connected, because community has been important in her life. It's been important in my life. And I know that it's just important to all of us. We need it and we thrive with it. Thank you all for tuning in and listening. Thank you, Lace, for coming and sharing everything with us. If you've got any questions for her, pop them in the comments. We'll both come back and answer things, I'm sure. Otherwise, I'm going to say goodbye. Is there one to say, Lace?
Just thank you for having me, and I'd love to have you come over and speak to my ladies too. So let's do this again. But thank you so much, and thank you for all your comments. You guys make me smile. So have a great day.
Brilliant. And I'm sure we will do it again. This won't be the last time you see us together. Not at all.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
All right, you go and have a day. I've got a little one sneaking in here behind me, so I will hop off as well. Sending you all lots of love and light, and we'll see you all soon.
Bye.
Mama. And if it will let me end broadcast. Go. Perfect. Not letting me leave. It doesn't want us to go, Lace. It's like, nope, not having it.
Oh my